You're listening to Life, Death, and the Law, presented by Deason, Garner & Hansen, the law firm that has been voted Yuma's best 6 years in a row.
So, in particular with the lifespan of the Earth, geology is based on a couple of foundational principles. One of those principles is uniformitarianism, which means that
That's a big word.
Yeah, right. And it's a $50,000 word for anyone who goes to college these days. That's what their degree costs.
Yep.
But the law states that the processes that you see and observe now are always the same and have always been the same. So what that means is you can take a look at the rate in which rocks decay, and you can extrapolate that time frame of what you can observe now, and you just walk it back a bunch of years to see, okay, well then this rock must have been formed at this time period based on what we see now. So that's the large premise that all of geology is based on, because if that's not true, then all of your timetables are incorrect.
So how old is the Earth?
So according to that timetable and that time measure, about 4.6 billion years old.
Okay.
What's interesting is, so I don't know, maybe 8 months ago or something, I got into carbon dating, trying to figure out what is this thing, because they'll routinely find things and like, that's from the Egyptian period. We carbon dated it. This is, million years old. We carbon dated it. I'm like, how do you know? Like, what is carbon dating? And my understanding, and you probably know this pretty well, is that they pick a number or a point in time, and then that carbon, as it's decayed over time, they're using that as their marker. But nobody knows if that point in time is the actual point in time. They're using kind of like circumstantial evidence to hone in, okay, let's start our date here, and then we're going to do the decay from this. So when I was looking over it, and I came to the conclusion, like, carbon dating is not very accurate at all. It's really based on a conclusion, like you said, well, we've determined this is it. This is the time that we're going to start, so we need to do the decaying from this period. What if that period's wrong? Nobody knows if it's wrong or not.
Well, I'm going to step into his defense for a little bit. I think that he explained it up front that science we use and experiments and theories as tools for measurements. For example, the law of gravity, Newton's law of gravity, we found later on with Einstein and the rule of time and space relativity, that Newton's law of gravity was not accurate. However, it did serve a good purpose, and it was a good tool for a very long time. And so just because it's not perfect, I don't think we discredit it and throw the baby out with the bathwater.
What I'm arguing, though, is I don't want to use this imperfect system to negate some spiritual or religious. We're talking about religion versus science here, I believe. And so when you use a carbon date to say, well, that what was done in Moses, in the book of Moses, couldn't have happened because of
there is no
dating.
book of Moses in the Bible. So if we're talking about biblical, we're talking about the book of Genesis.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Sorry. During Moses' time.
Uh-huh.
But what I'm saying is to use carbon dating to negate biblical events, I don't put a lot of credence in that.
If you have questions or want to know more about something that was discussed today, please call the law firm of Deason, Garner & Hansen at 928-783-4575 or visit yumaestateplanning.com.